What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Kid Taj. I am on vacation right now. I didn't know if I would be uploading, but I have some time to record right now. So I think, depending, I don't know when this video is going to get up. Honestly, I hope it's going to get up before game two, but the Wi-Fi here is pretty trash. I'm in Mexico, by the way, on vacation, but I have a little time to record. I feel like, I'm looking at my videos. They're doing pretty good. I want to get some videos about the NBA Finals. It's the best time, really, to make videos. So we're going to be talking about the Golden State Warriors and if they are the best team ever in NBA history. It's something that I actually really only talking about because I saw a thread, it's coming up a little bit, Tyronn Lue, LeBron James comments about how the Warriors are, one of the best teams of all time. And certainly, I would definitely give them that title if they're to win this year, to beat the Cavs in the NBA Finals. Then yeah, it makes sense. Okay, look at their team, look at the guys they have on their team, the success they're having in this playoffs. It's wild. They deserve, a good title for that. And yeah, I don't support them. I don't like them one bit. I hate Kevin Durant and his decision, but you gotta give props. Technically, these guys are all really good. I don't have to like them, but I do respect that they are one of the best teams ever, and they're likely already a top 5, top 10 team that we've ever seen if they win these NBA Finals. And they're talking about, if they go 16-0, are they the best team of all time? Are they? No, I don't think they are, and I'm gonna tell you why I don't think they are. Of course, right now I would say they're about top 5, top 10, and if they sweep the Cavs, which look, it's just annoying that I have to cover that possibility because I really don't want that to happen, just because I want a really good NBA Finals to follow up with this terrible NBA playoffs. And if we get a terrible series following a terrible NBA playoffs, the NBA is just not, where it used to be, I guess. I don't like these teams just killing everybody in their conferences and then one team in the finals kills the other. That's not what I want. But anyway, the Golden State Warriors, I think they're going to win it in 6. I said that. And something I don't like about this is people are already jumping to conclusions about Golden State Warriors winning the series. They won the first game and everyone's talking about, they're the best team of all time. Well, they got to win it first. Most people have them winning. Most people had them winning probably, before game 1. And after game 1, most people have them winning. And a lot of people think the series is over, which I think is quite frankly ridiculous. And I made a video about why it isn't over. Yeah, I do have the Warriors winning, but the Cavs, I think, are going to get at least 2 games off of them. I don't see LeBron going down in 4 or 5. That doesn't make any sense to me. You guys remember what happened last year? We were saying the same thing after 2 games. 2 blowout wins by the Warriors. And people were like, it's over. Look what happened. Exactly. So let's get more to the Golden State Warriors and this idea that they are the best team ever. Now, obviously, the consensus opinion pretty much is that the Chicago Bulls team of the 1990s with Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman some of the time. I guess they're saying the 96 Bulls is probably the best Chicago Bulls team, and that Bulls team is the best team ever. That's the common opinion. You can bring up the 60s Celtics teams, but I don't really know if that works. I don't really like going back so far as the game is so different and it just nothing's the same there. Yeah, they were dominant in their era, but like I've been saying in videos for a long time, those leagues, they only had 7 or 8 teams in them. So, it's not that hard to win that many titles with 8 teams in your league. When Jordan won, there were a lot more than 8 teams in the league, I'll tell you that. It was not easy for him to get there, but he made it look so. Now, why aren't the Warriors better than the Bulls? Well, my opinion is they're not, so I'm going to explain why I don't think they are. Now, a lot of people are talking about this, they're the best team if they sweep everybody. And look, if the Golden State Warriors sweep the Cavs, if they absolutely annihilate them, then I don't see that much of a problem with giving them this title. The thing is, I don't really think that's going to happen. If that does happen, if the dominance is so much, if they're killing them by so much and there's absolutely no competition, then yeah, maybe we can give them that title. I think it really depends on what happens, obviously. But the thing is that I really don't feel comfortable with giving them this 16-0 record at all. And that's just because of who they played, the teams, the shorthandedness of the teams they played. And look, I know the Cavs played a weak Eastern Conference. Look, if the Cavs beat the Warriors, nobody would be saying they're the best team of all time, I don't think, because everybody's going to be talking about how weak everybody they played was and how they annihilated them. They made them look weak. And I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to be like, the Cavs are a top 5 team ever, because I know that's BS. There's absolutely no way. I think that the Warriors are, but I don't like that they get through the playoffs this year without really being challenged either. A lot of people are talking about the Cavs got a cakewalk. Well, the Warriors got basically the same thing. You go up against the Portland Trailblazers without their season-saving player in Jusuf Nurkic. I mean, this team wasn't going to make the playoffs. Then they traded for Jusuf Nurkic, and he was fantastic for them. He led, like, the record just got so much better. They went on a huge run. They passed the Nuggets. They got in, and then he gets injured. And he's, like, such a game changer for them because we all know Portland is this team that, okay, they just can't guard you inside. If you get by their perimeter players, which aren't good at defense whatsoever, and Lillard and McCollum, they have no rim protection anyway. They're so easy to score on. When they got Jusuf Nurkic, their defense became a lot better. Not that it was really that good either when they had him, but they still could hold their own a little bit more because Jusuf Nurkic could block shots. He was a big-time rebounder. He was a presence. He was huge, literally and figuratively. And that's not like, I'm just saying he's huge. Like, they don't want to go in there huge. Like, not, you know. But anyway, the importance of Jusuf Nurkic was such a focal point throughout that end of the season. He gets injured and you just don't have a way of stopping, and you have to play the Warriors in the first round. It's like, well, you're screwed either way. And I like, okay, that's a sweep. They don't have Jusuf Nurkic. Jusuf Nurkic actually did play like 10 minutes in this series, but he didn't do anything because he was injured. He was hobbling, couldn't move well. If he was there, healthy, playing well, I think they would have won either game 1 or 3, because you remember game 1, they were in it until the fourth quarter. They were tied in the fourth quarter, then Warriors went on a run. And then in game 3, they were up by 17 points. And they choked away the lead to the Warriors, just went on that one of their huge runs. I think they would have won that game. I think they would have lost in 5 if they had Jusuf Nurkic playing. Now, in the second round, the Utah Jazz lost George Hill. Now, this is probably the least significant player that a team lost against the Warriors throughout the playoffs. And it's just because of the fact that, you know, the next one is Kawhi Leonard. And we'll talk about Kawhi Leonard. But George Hill is actually a lot more important than people think. He's one of the more underrated players in the league. He's your guy that's going to go out and guard Steph Curry, and he's going to give you 18 a night on offense. He's going to space the floor a little bit more. They had to play Shelvin Mack instead. Didn't really get that much out of him, but I feel like if they had George Hill for games 2, 3, and 4, I think they would have won that game 3 because they definitely were in that game. I think the Jazz are a quality team. I had the Warriors in 5 in this series, and I think that if George Hill was playing, they would have won game 3 as well. And yeah, okay, maybe those two guys, Nurkic and Hill, don't make a huge difference. But come on, you can't tell me that, you know, having one of those guys would have gotten you at least a game in a close game where you're up or something. You wouldn't have lost. You really would have lost that game with George Hill too. Like one of the games, not all of them. I'm not saying if they had George Hill, they win the series. They just win one game. I don't think that's that unrealistic. Now, this next one is the biggest one by far, and it was the worst one. It sucked because the Spurs lost their best player, and in my opinion, the second best player in basketball, Kawhi Leonard, and it completely destroyed the series. This was something I was so excited for this series. The Spurs versus the Warriors, the two top dogs in the Western Conference, two best teams in the league for the last 2 years, record-wise in the regular season. Kawhi Leonard goes down with an injury, and you got to rely on LaMarcus Aldridge, and LaMarcus Aldridge is clearly not comfortable with being the number one guy, clearly not comfortable with, you know, taking the majority of the shots in terms of other players like in that starting lineup. So you have Aldridge guarded by Draymond Green. That doesn't work. That's never going to work. And it didn't work. And they don't have a go-to guy besides that because Tony Parker was also injured. And a Spurs team without Kawhi Leonard and Tony Parker has no chance against the Golden State Warriors. None. Look at what Kawhi Leonard did. It just frustrates me because Kawhi Leonard's like one of my favorite players in the NBA. He's such a game changer, and he was the reason they were up 23 points in game 1. And he goes out, and they're on the back end of a 14-0 run. They lose the lead like that. It's so quick. The lead just goes down. They lose the game, and after that, it was over. They get swept by the Warriors. They wouldn't have gotten swept. They would have gotten at least 2 games in that series if Kawhi was playing. So for me, that adds up to 4 wins for those teams. Now, I'm not going to make it like the Cavs don't have an injury. The Cavs don't have something where it's like, oh, well, if he was playing, well, they don't have a guy like that. So I'm not about to say that. I don't think the Cavs will get swept. I think they'll win 2. Like I said, like the Spurs would win 2. I said Warriors in 6, didn't I? Yeah, I think I said Warriors in 6 or 7. No, I think I said 6. I would say Warriors in 6 again against the Cavs. So overall, I predict it should be 6 losses for the Warriors in the entire playoffs, not 0. If they sweep the Cavs, I think it would have been 4. if those guys were playing. Yeah, I know you guys are gonna hit me with the, oh well, injuries happen and they just weren't playing, and the Warriors, it's not the Warriors' fault they won those games. Yeah, I get that. But look, they had just a significantly easier path than they could have had. They were not challenged one bit. There was not a team in the West that was even close to their level that they, went up against. If the Rockets had won out against the Spurs, they would have been better than what the Spurs did, because the Spurs didn't have anybody to compete with the Warriors. If the Rockets had won out, they probably would have won 1 or 2 games. If the Spurs had Kawhi Leonard and Tony Parker, they would have won 2 games. But, they didn't. And the Warriors benefited from that. So I just think the Warriors had a really easy path to the finals. You can't say the Cavs' path was easy without saying the Warriors' path was easy as well. That's my opinion on all of this. That's going to do it, I think. But it all changes pretty much if the Warriors sweep the Cavs, because then it doesn't really matter. Because the Cavs are supposed to be the top dog in the East, or even the second best team in the league, which I'm not even sure if I believe. Like, a lot of people would be like, oh yeah, no brainer, Cavs are better than the Spurs at full strength. But I don't know if I would say that. But the Warriors, they're a great team. They're likely a top 5 team ever, top 3 even, if they get a big win over the Cavs in this finals. But it's so hard for me to say, oh yeah, they're number 1. They didn't face any adversity. There was no struggle for them along the way, because no one they played was really threatening to them. Yeah, they're that good, because other teams would have struggled with some of the teams that they beat. But then again, I think the Cavs would have swept that Jazz team. I think the Cavs would have swept that Spurs team. I think the Cavs would have swept that Blazers team that they played. So I don't really see a problem with, that. Saying that, that they had an easy path, because both of them had easy paths, but I think the Warriors had just an easy path as the Cavs. Even easier. I would even go that far to say that. That's gonna do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like, comment what you think about this. You think the Warriors are the best team of all time? It's cool if you do. I mean, we're all entitled to our own opinion, of course. Let me know why. Call me out if I'm wrong. Write a long, angry message in the comments if I'm wrong. Subscribe if you're new, and I'm out. Thanks for watching, y'all. Peace.